Good. Hello, everyone. Hey, this is Cynthia Fontaine, Spirit Guru, and the Rhode Island Psychic Medium coming to you live here from sunny New England today. I have my jingle bells on. We're only a few days away from Christmas. We are in the Hanukkah season, and there are 29 holidays this month, the month of December. So I would like to start off by saying, happy holidays to everyone out there. No matter what holiday you celebrate, everyone is celebrating some holiday this month around the world. So happy holidays to you. And I celebrate Christmas and Hanukkah. And I wanted to say Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. And the reason why celebrate Hanukkah is because my ancestors are Jewish, and so I celebrate to honor them. Anyway, apparently I need to turn my phone off because my daughter-in-law is decided she's texting this morning. She's chatty. Okay, so I'm not sure if this is live on Facebook or not. I'm going to see if I can figure that out right now. YouTube has changed their settings and format. And I was not able to get on the way that I normally get on. So I'm not exactly sure if this is just live on YouTube or if it is also streaming on Facebook, because they, like I said, they have a new setup, and I wasn't able. I'm looking right now to see if I can see if I'm on live, and I don't see it there. So I'm guessing this is not broadcasting on Facebook, and this is only on YouTube right now. If I see that there are some people here on the YouTube live, if somebody can just chat in and let me know if I am in fact on Facebook or not, that would be awesome. I don't think I am, because I can't find it, but that has happened before, where I have been on Facebook and couldn't find it, and you guys have found it for me. So anyway, I'm just blabbing here, blah, 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 trying to see if this is working. I hate when the really dislike intensely when YouTube or Facebook or whoever changes things on you and you don't realize that the format has changed, and you go to jump on to do your show, and all of a sudden, surprise, it's not working. So it's sort of annoying. And apparently, YouTube has gone to this new format where you have to have some kind of live streaming software, which I downloaded from 3 different developers, and I still was unable to get it to work. So I don't know what that's all about. So you guys, I'm struggling a little bit with this here to try to get this all sorted. But anyway, I do want to continue on. Let me see if I can get live on Facebook at the same time. I'm not sure if it's going to let me use the camera at the same time I'm on Facebook, on YouTube. I may lose one of them, so we'll see what happens here. And so you guys bear with me. Okay. Sorry about this, guys. Okay, just getting set up here on Facebook, since I'm not seeming to connect the YouTube and the Facebook now. Okay, let's see. All right. So I know you guys can still see me because I am not live yet on Facebook. And so bear with me, please. I am going to test this out and see what happens. Um, okay. Okay. All right. So let's see what happens here. And I'm gonna add some tags because I can't seem to add them down the bottom here. Okay. All right, let's see what happens. Hey everyone, this is Cynthia Fontaine, the Rhode Island psychic medium and spirit guru, coming to you live here from sunny New England. And I was just trying to, we got delayed because YouTube apparently has changed their formatting. And I was not able to get my YouTube to stream live on Facebook this morning. They added some new step where you have to have live stream software. I downloaded the live stream software from 3 different places and none of it seemed to work. So I am broadcasting on both separately at the moment, and hopefully it all works out. Good morning, Mary Elizabeth. Thank you so much for joining. And so I'm just going to talk for a minute, give people a chance to come on. I know I didn't announce I was coming on this morning. And with the construction that's been going on, good morning, Cindy Fala. With the construction that's been going on at my house / office, it's been tricky to do my Facebooks on Sunday mornings. So this morning I'm at my summer house, my weekend house. So that way I could get on and spend some time with you guys this morning. Though I have a construction crew coming in an hour and 10 minutes. So then I have to skedaddle back over to the other house and get some construction done, which I'm really excited about. I really love the way that the what do you call it? The remodel is taking shape. I really like the feel of it. I think it's going to be really great. And I can't wait for you guys all to join me in this space. It's exciting for me. And so anyway, so that being said, that I'll be here hanging out with you guys for a little while. I want to encourage you guys to share my page with your friends. Also, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you will get listening while driving. Mary Babcock, nice. You will get if you subscribe to my YouTube channel. You will get pinged when I upload new videos. And anyway, so yeah, that and share with your friends. Barbara, it will be worth it. So excited for you too. Thank you. Yes, the construction will be so worth it. It's way behind schedule because it was supposed to start in November. I had the contractor out in the end of October, the first week of November, and we thought he was going to get started within 2 weeks. And things happen with contractors, and we didn't see him for 5 weeks. And so my kids and I started the project ourselves. And then once we got the project started, because the universe will react to action. As soon as we got the project started, we tore the ceilings down. There were two ceilings in that room, a drop ceiling and then a ceiling above it. And I had to take a closet out, which was constructed extremely well. I'm married to a contractor, you understand. Yeah, totally, right? Yeah, they get busy, right? They all have multiple jobs typically going at the same time, and it's tricky. But anyway, and this wasn't the first contractor. I've had several people out. They come out, they look at the job. Um, Nobody ever even got back to me with an estimate. But this particular contract I've known for a long time, and we really thought he was going to come through. So anyway, I don't think he really liked to do the job and didn't really want to say it. So he gave an estimate and then came back when he showed back up again 5 weeks later, and the estimate more than doubled the price. So my kids and I were like, let's just do it ourselves. So we've been working on it. And good morning, Jeannie Bundy. So happy to see you here. So I want to talk about probably a whole bunch of things today. And one of them is when talking about the construction and everything, when you step into your life, when you take action, the universe will meet you and respond. So my son decided, since I was doing, my daughter and I were tearing his sister. We were tearing the ceilings down and everything, and we were waiting for the contractor. And I really wanted to have this project done by December 15th, so that I could have my open house for Alchemy of the Earth, which is my all natural bath and body products and energy clearing sprays. And also I do salt lamps. And so anyway, so my goal was to have it completed by December 15th so I could have my annual open house. Well, it's December 22nd, and it's not completed, not anywhere near completed. My son came down last weekend and did all the framing. And then I have a kid that helps me. He's not a kid, he's like 28. But he helps me with odd jobs, and he's doing he's doing some insulation for me right now. He's coming this afternoon, and so he and my daughter are hopefully going to get some of the wall board ups. They're hopefully going to get the ceiling up and start working on the walls. That will be the office hallway. Anyway, so it's exciting, it's fun, it's a challenge. It's Christmas time and the house is a disaster. There's construction material in the living room. My office is packed up in bags and boxes and spread out throughout the house. And fortunately, my son and his wife just bought a house at the beginning of November, and they're hosting Christmas dinner, which is great because I have this massive project going on. And I would have hosted Christmas dinner anyway, but it makes life a little bit easier so that nobody is tripping over construction materials. Anyway, good morning, Lisa by Grace. Thank you guys so much for being here. I know where we are 3 days before Christmas, and you guys are taking time out to hang out with me. So it's really an honor for me, for you all to be here. And talking about the holiday season, and this for many people is the most stressful time of the year. And when there's normal things going on, when we are trying to figure out our budget, trying to buy gifts for people, trying to get to have time to visit everyone that we are on our list that we want to see. Maybe even getting your Christmas cards written. I just got my Christmas cards written yesterday, so people are going to get them after Christmas, most likely. And I haven't even finished them. I probably got about half of them done. And so, in the past, I would have been freaking out about all of this. I would have been like, oh my God, no open house. Oh my God, my Christmas cards aren't done. Oh my God, what, blah, 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 blah. And I would have been running around like a nut with my head cut off, feeling so stressed out, not enjoying the holidays. But this year is very different. This year has been a big year for me, stress wise. There's been a lot of big challenges in my life with my family, with the housing situation, having to move, not wanting to move. Well, because I loved the place that I lived in. But anyway, but the guy that bought the place turned out to be a real jerk, and you guys have heard that story before if you've tuned in. Anyway, so all of that, and then we couldn't find a place to live, and then the last minute we found this house to buy. And 4 days after buying the house, my dad took ill and had 13 emergency room visits in 11 weeks. And I took him to more than half of those. And then he was in and out of the hospital and the rehab nursing facility for 7 months. My brother, a few days after this cycle started with my dad, my brother got himself into quite the pickle, and I am now power of attorney for him and medical power of attorney for my dad. So it's been a lot. And then my online calendar apparently has not been working most of the year. Funny how that works out. And I kept saying, oh my God, why, where are my clients? People aren't booking, and it's so strange. And somebody in April contacted me and said, actually 2 people, one at the end of March and one in April, and said, hey, we've been trying to book appointments and we can't get in. So the first one, I was up to my eyeballs. I didn't check it out. The second one messaged me a couple of weeks later, and I thought, oh, I better check this out. So I find out my online booking service was down for 3 months. And so that was sort of not so good. I got that back up and running, and then it went down twice more this year. And I just found out a few weeks ago it was down again when somebody was trying to book an appointment again. And so there's that. The interesting piece about that is I always say Spirit has a plan. And Spirit has, I say, cleared my decks before, once before in my life, where all of a sudden I didn't have a lot of work. It's like everybody just vaporized. And I kept saying, you know what? Spirit's got a plan. Spirit's got a plan. And Spirit has had a plan because I needed the time to be able to focus on my family, my home, my friends, and so forth. And myself, because I wasn't taking care of myself throughout all of this. And I got pretty sick and I ended up in the hospital twice. And so it's really made me these last month and a half really evaluate how much I do and why I do what I do, and really start to become clear about setting boundaries and what is in the best interest for me as well as the people that I love. So I have started saying no more often to the people that I care about. And not just responded, oh, okay, I'll do that, sure. And just doing what I can do. And sometimes that doesn't go over well with the people around you who love you. And so one of those things turned out was from Thanksgiving. So I hosted Thanksgiving, and I did the whole big spread with the turkey and all the fixings and the whole, over the top everything with 3 desserts and all of that. But went light on the hors d'oeuvres because dinner was late. People weren't coming until 3:30, 4 o'clock. Dinner was going to be served at 5. So, I thought it's going to be a short time between people arriving and having dinner. So I went light on the hors d'oeuvres for a couple of reasons. One, it was a lot of work doing what we did, and having already started the deconstruction work, I spent a lot of time with that. The other thing was being mindful of the budget because, oh, Jeannie, thank you so much, Jeannie. I am going to talk a little bit about Will. And I just want to say that I'm dedicating this show to Will, Jeannie's husband, who passed away very unexpectedly last weekend. And I'm going to talk more about that. And this is leading up to, the conversation and the dedication to Dr. and Commander William Bundy, because he's taught me a lot. And he's probably didn't even know what, really he taught me. And so, hello, Lisa Carberry. Okay, so I'm gonna end around Will is I'm gonna talk about fear, and me pushing through fear, and Will was key instrumental with that. So anyway, all right. So back to Thanksgiving. So I get a phone call 3 days ago from my stepmother because we have Christmas coming, and my son and daughter-in-law wanted to host Christmas, but their oven in their new house wasn't working. So it was up in the air whether they were going to be able to host or not. And so I said, well, just let us know. So I get a phone call 3 days ago from my stepmother, or maybe it was 2 days ago. I forget now which, but anyway. And she's very short, and there's communication skills are lacking. And she says, gets on the phone and hey, how's it going? No, none of that. Gets on the phone and says, we got gypped for Thanksgiving. We want to know what's going on for Christmas because we don't want to be gypped again. And I went, you got gypped for Thanksgiving? Well, that's interesting. So what's going on with that? What do you mean you got gypped for Thanksgiving? So funny. Christmas, I do a lot of hors d'oeuvres, and I make beef burgundy. That's the special dish for Christmas, and we do a lot of hors d'oeuvres because we tend to hang out longer Christmas than we do for Thanksgiving, and anyway, so we tend to eat later for Christmas as well. So there's more time before dinner. And so the whole thing with her feeling gypped was because I only did cheese and crackers for hors d'oeuvres, and she brought chips and dip, which I knew she was bringing. And they expected a full course of hors d'oeuvres. And when I say they, my stepmother and my dad. Well, that didn't happen because I was pressed for time. I was taking care of me and doing what I needed to do to work everything out. And I didn't think it was a big deal that there wasn't a shrimp ring. Well, apparently it was a big deal to my stepmother and my dad. But she escalates things with my dad when she's not around. He's different. So anyway, she made this whole big deal, and they wanted to know what was on the menu for Christmas and where it was going to be, because if we didn't tell them the menu and hadn't made a decision if it was going to be at my house or my son's house, they weren't coming. So talk about family drama, right? And I know that you guys probably have some kind of family drama going on. The holidays always bring out the best and the worst in people, especially people that haven't done, their work, people who aren't on a spiritual course, people who don't meditate, people who don't practice conscious communication, you know. And I'm quite sure that you people that are tuning in live or listen to the replay all have those things in within your family. And at some point, before you became awakened, you probably contributed to that, all the drama. So, anyway, I assured them that there would be hors d'oeuvres and a shrimp ring, and that no matter whether it was at my son's house or my house, that it would be covered. So that seemed to satisfy her somewhat, but not completely. So I told her to get in touch with my daughter-in-law directly. I wasn't going to be in the middle of it. Now, that's a boundary. In the past, I would have gone back and forth between my daughter-in-law and my stepmother, seeing if my daughter-in-law if they've sorted the oven out yet, what we were doing, blah, blah, blah. And I just drew a hard, straight line and said, nope, you get in touch with my daughter-in-law and you work it out. And I gave her phone number and said, okay, there you go. So as it works out, my son and daughter-in-law bought a new stove yesterday, got delivered today. She just sent me a picture of it. And there we go. And so everything is all set and planned. In the past, I would have really, really not been able to set that boundary with my stepmother. I would have gone back and forth between her and my daughter-in-law, and I would have really taken the whole thing personally. What this does when you do personal development work, when you meditate, when you learn how to set clear boundaries, when you start taking care of yourself first, your whole perspective changes. So I don't feel bad about not having the shrimp ring. And in fact, we're going to play a little joke, and we're going to get the little tiny jars with the mini shrimp in them and make a shrimp ring with those, which probably won't go over big. But, well, I'll have the regular shrimp ring too, but that's not coming out first. In the past, I would never even have entertained the idea of doing a joke like that, but I'm going to. And if it doesn't go over well, it doesn't go over well. But anyhow, so now, I sort of am making a fun of it, right? And we'll see what happens. But anyway, yeah, that's my Christmas drama this week so far. And then Friday, so that was Thursday. Friday, after my stepmother being so nasty and rude, she calls me back on Friday, sweet as syrup, nice, wanting me to pick up ask my cousin. We do a family skating party Christmas Eve afternoon, which my stepmother was also making a fuss about, because we go to that so we can see all our cousins, because everybody's scattered throughout the state, and it's impossible to see everybody Christmas Day. So Christmas Eve afternoon, one of my cousins rents a an ice rink, and we whoever can make it, we all go ice skating, and we bring food, and it's a lot of fun. So she was making a fuss about that because we're going to that, because then that means we don't get to start Christmas with them until later. Now, we've been going to the skating party for since I retired from the post office 7 years ago. We didn't go before that because I worked Christmas Eve day. So, so she was making a fuss about that. And I said, well, sorry, but that's what we're doing. It's the only time I get to see my cousins for Christmas. We're going to the skating party like we always do. So she was making a fuss about that Thursday. Calls me on Friday and says, sweet as syrup. Hey, are you getting those pizza chip things from your cousin Tammy this year? And I said, yes. She says, can you get me a box? So there's this Italian bakery in, I don't know if they're in Providence or Pawtucket, but anyway, there's an Italian bakery in the state who makes these little, like, 3 to 4 inch pizza chips, and they are to die for. So every year, we all put our order in, and my cousin picks them up, and then she brings them to the skating party, and we get our pizza chips. So it's funny how less than 24 hours before, my stepmother, couldn't say enough bad things, and then all of a sudden, all nice and peachy, right? Because she wanted the pizza chips. Anyway, that's the kind of family stuff that I'm dealing with. And that it's kind of mild compared to previous years in a way. But the thing that's really different is the way that I deal with it and I handle it, and not taking it personally. Oh, well, I'm really sorry they missed their shrimp, but oh well, that's the way it is. And I can laugh about it now. So anyway, um so while I was talking, I was shuffling cards, and some cards fell out of the deck, and one was new life. And this, it really supports what I've been sharing here today about how this whole perspective for me is really creating a new life for me, in a sense. And I've had some really good opportunities in the last week to really look at and evaluate what's important for me. And I'm always self-evaluating on it for in one level or another, because and how we interact and behave in our own lives, to our own selves, and with other people. And one thing that became really clear to me over this last week, and it's been clear for a long time, but I really had to put the lesson into practice in this last week. And that was people before money. Putting people first before money. And I had a situation where I had a client cancel a few hours before a session. And it's not the first time it's happened this last year, but it's been a very hectic year for them and for me. And I just reflected and reminded this client that I had a cancellation policy of 72 hours unless it was an emergency. And I think that this person may have taken offense, because this has been a long time client. And so anyway, the way that it worked out, it was tense for a while. And then I really thought a lot about it. And the next day I sent her a note, and I said, these are the things I've realized. And, though I do want to, say honor myself, in that sharing the cancellation policy with you, but I also want to honor, the longevity, the length of time that you've been with me. And also, I didn't feel like I had been living up to my own expectations recently in working with this individual. So it's really rigorous honesty about self evaluation, and also, really understanding what's important and is there something that I could do differently. Good morning, Sherry King Bastille. Good morning, Guinevere. And so it's been a very interesting week. And then that was last week. Sorry, that was a week and a half ago when that situation came up. And then from there, Merry Christmas, Sherry. I love you. And then a couple of days later, um, I had two unexpected deaths of friends, and found out that my former husband is quite ill. And then I had another friend's wife go into a coma, which she miraculously woke up from and recovered this week. So there's the Christmas miracle on top of all this stuff that has gone on. All right. So it's been an interesting week. And so I'm just trying regaining my thoughts here, because I want to talk a little bit about the reflection this week and Dr. and Commander William Bundy. Now, I've known Will for probably about, 5 or 6 years now. And his wife, Jeannie, has been a student and has become a very good friend. And he passed away unexpectedly a week ago today, which we're all, very still shocked about. But I want to talk about the gifts that I feel that I received from Will, because I think they're important for all of us. Will is a very educated man. He was a doctor. He was a commander in the Navy. He commanded a submarine and was part of the squadron of 7 black men the Centennial 7, who commanded subs. He was the first black man, African American man, to command a sub in the United States military, in the Navy. He was really a forward thinker. And one of the things that I really was surprised and appreciated, and came to love Will about, is, as scientific as he was and as military as he was, he taught at the Navy War College, and up and coming Navy officers. He was open to what I do and the woo-woo, which to me was interesting, but he kind of scared me a little bit, because I didn't feel that I was on the same level in any way as Will, because of his education, because he was really a formidable force in the world. He touched so many people's lives, and that was clear with his services this week, where there's so many people showed up, and so many people wanted to come forward. They wanted to speak. They wanted to talk about how Will impacted their lives. And Will impacted my life in so many different ways. And one of them was really, as a building blocks just came out, funny, and it's the foundation. It was really foundational for me, because even though, I don't have a doctorate, I don't command fleets, I don't understand a lot of military things, He was into cyber stuff. What do you call those kind of things? Cyber security and all kinds. And he was really on the cutting edge of so many things. Um, he never, ever made me feel like I was less than. He was always interested in what I was doing. He was always interested and open to hearing my perspective. And I worked with him for a little bit more than a year, about a year and a half, with some very private things. And it was very interesting for me. Good morning, Susan. So nice to see you. He was very charming. Yes, Cindy Fala. He never made you feel less than he was, and was always very interested in supporting whatever you did, whoever you were, whatever level you were on. And he respected me in a great way for the work that I do. And I feel like treated me as an expert in my field. And it was really humbling to have this man who was so amazing, touched so many lives, had such great education and knowledge, and yet was so open to always learning new things and putting value on people's lives. He valued people. He valued relationships, and he fostered relationships. And it's been quite interesting for me where these other things have come up this week for giving me an opportunity to value relationships. Now, a big relationship that we tend to undervalue is the relationship with ourselves. And this brings me to the topic of true joy for the holidays. When we value ourselves, when we value the relationship with ourselves, when we take care of ourselves, when we set healthy boundaries, when we find and do things that bring joy in our lives, that's valuing yourself. And you cannot truly value other people on a deep spiritual soul level until you value yourself. So I want you guys to just take that in, right? Because we, especially women, we tend to do. We tend to, outwardly, value others. We put, as a Virgo, 4 planets in Virgo, I put people on pedestals. And so, it was really an opportunity for me working with Dr. Bundy to realize that I have my own pedestal, and that not in a conceited or stuck up way, but it's really, I have to value and respect myself in the work that I do and sharing with others the same way that Will valued. I don't want to say he valued himself in a stuck up way, but I don't think he may have questioned in his mind, his, I don't know. I don't think he could have, because he was just so amazing. I don't think he could have possibly questioned for a minute his value to the world, his intelligence. And so he was really a great role model for me, and a great role model for hundreds, maybe thousands of people, probably thousands, in his 40-year military career. So this holiday season, I encourage you to really take a good look, as we only have 7, 8 days left for this year. Not only for this year, but for this decade. And we go into a whole brand new decade. And 2020 is going to be filled with twists and turns and surprises. And if you missed my last show with Susan Brochin on, I think it was December, it was the beginning of December 1st, maybe. You guys want to go check that out because we talk a lot about astrologically and what's coming up. And, we have this big astrological event coming up on January 12th. And this week we have a lunar eclipse on the 26th. And the way that the planets are lined up this week are really going to give us a boost and help us with love, with relationships. But, we also have to be reminded the stress around the holidays is real. Okay. And so take care of you. Put you first in some way this next 10, 15 days especially. Okay. Set really good, clear boundaries. And don't be apologetic for it when you set those boundaries. Just like with my stepmother not wanting us to go to the skating party so that we can gather earlier with her and my dad for Christmas. And I had to make a choice. And I said, no, we're going to the skating party and we'll see you guys later. And that feels right to me. That feels true. That feels good to honor myself in that. Good morning, Doug, or good afternoon, actually. We are in afternoon. That feels good to me to honor myself. And in the past, I would have, I had all this mental stress about choosing to go to the skating party to see all my cousins, and some of my aunts and uncles will be there, and felt guilty about it. And I would have struggled with it, and I would have carried on to my kids about it, and so forth. But it's very different for me this year than ever before. It was really easy to say, no, I'm choosing to go to the skating party because I want to spend time with my family, with my cousins, and see them. And we'll see you guys later. And it felt really good. So I encourage you guys to choose you first. Choose you first. Choose what feels good for you, remembering that relationships are important, but the relationship with you comes first. Because when you love yourself enough to set clear boundaries, when you love yourself enough not to feel guilty about it, that's going to come through in all of your relationships. Now, some relationships may wane. Some relationships may disappear when you do this. But that's okay, because if they do, they're not the right relationship for you right now. And bless them. Let them go. Let them go. This is how I'm finding true joy this holiday season. Really, being sick and having been in the hospital, like I said, twice this fall, and really not handling difficult situations, stressful situations well, because I wasn't putting myself first. I was putting everybody else's situations first, everybody else's challenges, and overdoing for everyone else. It took me out. And now I have a completely different perspective, and I'm so grateful for that. And so I hope that you guys have heard something today that is helpful. And it's so funny because I like to shuffle cards when I'm on live here. And Breathe has fallen out of the deck twice in protection. And this is Colette Barra Reed's Wisdom of the Oracle deck, WOTO, as we call it in the Oracle school. which you guys know I love Colette. I love Colette's decks. And anyway, I just want to read a little bit. It's interesting because this card has come up twice in protection. And in protection, it means um inertia, right? It's like, are you showing signs of of um of laziness and inertia, and not signs of slowing down, but of decay and lifelessness. Wake up and do something to shake it off. Go outside and get some air. Walk in nature. You and all of life is ensouled and magical. Get some exercise. Move out of your head. Get into your body. Breathe deeply. Each breath is precious. And one of the things I have been doing this last week, especially, actually, is getting outside in nature. It's winter time here. It was 8 degrees 2 days ago, and I got out and bundled up and went walk the dog. And my daughter was like, "You walked the dog and it was 8 degrees?" I'm like, "Yeah, remember I delivered mail for 26 years in the winter." But the past few years, when it's cold out or the weather's bad, I hibernate. I don't want to be outside. I lived outside for 26 years, no matter what kind of weather. Even in blizzards, we delivered mail. We had to make a presence because I had a walking route. They would send me out to walk down Spring Street so people could see that we were out trying to deliver the mail. And so the last couple of years, if the weather's been bad, I'm like, oh, I'm not going out there. Oh, it's too cold. I turn up the heat, put on a sweater, and hibernate. Well, this last week, I said, you know what? I love the winter air. I love when it's crisp and cold. And so I bundled up, took the dog out, and I've been doing that all week. So it's not just, when this card to me is not just saying, shake off, not, that you're being lazy in a sense of sitting around eating bonbons, but in a sense it's shake off the cobwebs, right? Shake off the sort of the spiritual cobwebs in your mind. Get out and breathe, get it and shake it off, Doug. Totally, right? And I just want to honor you, Doug Upchurch, for being here and for being such an amazing role model for me and for so many others, not only this year, your whole lifetime, but especially this year. So I just want to express my gratitude to you. And if you guys don't know Doug, you want to check out his podcast. So, Doug, can you put your podcast in the chat so people can check that out? What a tough mama jama. I love that. I love that. Good morning, Lindsay. Merry Christmas to you and your loved ones also. Mary Babcock, it's a sunny day here. It just arrived, enjoying the sun. The to-do list can wait. Absolutely. And you know what? The to-do list gets easier when you take time out for yourself. So when you can take a few minutes for yourself. I've been doing, salt baths, which has been difficult with the construction going on because I never know when people are coming in and out, with the electrician, the insulation guy, people coming in and out. Deep love to you too, Doug. Yes, thank you so much. And if you put your podcast in the chat, Doug, that would be awesome. And so I start to run the tub, and then somebody comes in. And, I'll get a window of when they're coming, but I never know exactly when. So Friday, the insulation guy wanted to come for an hour Saturday. Yeah, he wanted to come for an hour yesterday morning before I went off to, it was Friday, sorry, before I went off to start my day. And all that. And I said, nope, not today. Let's take the day off. In fact, let's take the next 2 days off and let's regroup on Sunday. And it worked out perfectly well. I was able to take my nice salt bath, got on with my day. So even though I really want the construction I want it to be done, I want to keep it moving. I said, what is the value of that hour compared to the value of me getting a 20-minute salt bath? Totally, totally different value. Okay. So, how are you valuing yourself? How are you putting yourself first? I encourage you to do that this holiday season, especially. Thank you, Doug, for sharing your podcast, Brave, Real, Loving Human Radio. I totally encourage you guys to check it out. Doug's work is amazing. He's inspiring. And if you haven't followed Doug's work and he's new to you, please go check him out. He's really, really amazing. Good morning, Don. Good morning, Amy. I know I owe you a phone call. I can't wait to chat and catch up. It's been way too long. So check out Doug's podcast. And then I need to wrap up here in a few minutes because I have to head back over to the house where construction is going to continue this afternoon, which I'm actually really excited about. And one of the things too that I want to talk about with this construction is I've built a house before, hammered every nail, but it was a long time ago. I can do hang wallboard and spackle but those things have gotten difficult for me because I have some physical challenges that make it difficult to lift any kind of significant amounts of weight. But my son had it, and he was in construction, but hasn't done construction professionally for probably about 7 or 8 years. So he did the framing of the project, and then he showed the pictures to the construction crew that he works with, they do disaster cleanup, and they have their own construction crew. And the construction manager said, "Oh, you have to add another 2x4 above this door frame and then brace it with cripples, they're called. So it's blocks of wood." So he's like, "Ma, you got to do this before you put the sheetrock up." So I got out my trusty drill and got the bits and had to go buy the screws and it wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be because I had to engineer how I was going to be able to not only do that part of the work, but I also had to add pieces in so that we can hang the new ceiling. Oh, happy holidays to you too, Doug. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm glad that you love the message saying yes to yourself first, because it's like putting on the oxygen mask in the airplane. If we don't put ours on first, we can't help anybody else. So it's about putting your oxygen mask on first. So anyway, part of this whole construction for me too is when I have big things going on in my life, I have to move my body. And it's not just getting out and go for a walk. I need to be constructive and do something constructive. So one of the things that I've done this last week is I knit 5 scarves, right? So at night when, I'm sitting watching whatever, I often watch teaching videos on the subscriptions I have, or sometimes I've been watching Christmas specials, old Christmas specials, like Johnny Cash Christmas specials and things like that. So I'll knit while I have these things going on, and that's like my down decompress time. And so I made 5 scarves this week, and it's a lot of fun. And then I give them away for Christmas. And so anyway, I forgot where I was going with that. Oh my God, I totally just went blank on where I was going with the knitting and the scarves. Anyway, so I guess we're done with that conversation. Funny. Yes, we have to fill our cup so that we can give more to others, right? But one thing, like filling my cup, I love to make scarves for people. It's the only thing that I do, knitting, is make scarves. And I've become done so many of them now that I can do them pretty much without looking because I just do simple knit. I just knit. So every row is knit, but it gives you this pattern because you knit, you turn it around, and then you knit again, and it looks like the other side comes out differently. So anyway, I've gotten good, and they come out nice and even now. Before they would go like this, the stitches were never even, and so that's been actually a lot of fun. And I just had this bag of yarn, and I started with whatever I had the most of, and then got down to having smaller amounts of yarn of a particular color, where it wasn't enough to make a long scarf. So I said, what can I do with this? And this is part of the whole construction topic. So it's about creativity and physically moving. So it's not just physically moving the body, it's also physically moving the mind. Okay. That's where I was going with this. I'm glad I remembered. Good morning, Kim. So with the construction, as with knitting the scarves, I had to physically move my mind. Knitting is physically moving your hands. The construction, physically moving your body, where I decided not to hammer any nails and use screws because it's easier for me on my body. And so I had to figure out how to do this construction to make it work so I could then tie in the pieces that needed to be tied in to hang the ceiling. And with the yarn, I had to figure out how to take the amount of yarn that I had still to be able to make a scarf that I could give for Christmas. And so I decided to see if I could then, when I made the scarf as long as I could with the yarn that I had, if I could then take the crochet hook and crochet a loop. I wish I had one here to show you guys, but I don't because they're at the other house. But anyway, and crochet it so you just put it over your head, so it just goes right over your head, and it's already closed. So then you're not fussing with throwing the scarf over your shoulder when it's cold or whatever. So you put the scarf over your head, and it makes like a turtleneck. So I was pretty pleased with that. And so figure out what helps you work through stress, what helps you work through grief, what helps you handle situations when they come up and they're difficult. For me, it's not only physically moving my body, but it's also challenging my mind. It's putting me first. It's setting healthy boundaries and, saying no and being okay with it. So those are the things that I want to leave you guys with today. I hope that something here today resonated with you. I know I babbled on for quite a while, but I hope that something here resonated with you today. And I want one. Lisa by Grace. Yeah, and you live in Canada. You could really use one. So I hope that you're able to take away some little tidbit from today. And I hope that my wish for you, is, and I wanted to say, just backtrack for 1 second about coming to the close for the decade and coming to close, for this year and especially for the decade. I really encourage you all to take some time between now and the new year, or you can even go shortly after the new year, to do two things. One is to make a list of those who you need to forgive, and remember to put yourself on that list, and do Ho'oponopono with the list, and really spend some time reflecting on the list, the last 10 years of everybody that you need to forgive or you feel that you need forgiveness from. And then also, I want you to take and make a second list of everything that you have accomplished in this last 10 years. And for me, everything I talked about today has been the work of the last 10 years. It has been the work of going to healer school. It's been the work of working with so many wonderful people. It's been the work of having beautiful mentors and teachers in my life, like Doug Upchurch and Colette Baron Reed. It's been the work of having great mentors in my life, like Dr. William Bundy. It's been having great supporters in my life, like Dr. Jennifer Campion. Honor the people who have made an impact for you this last decade. Honor all that you have done and accomplished this past decade. Let's finish up the decade in the true spirit of love and honor for those around you, clearing up anything that needs forgiveness, or you feel that you need to be forgive for, and go forward this new decade with new strength, new resolve, and so much love in your heart. With that, I want to thank you all so much for this year, for this day, for tuning in. I know, Cheryl, you've just tuned in. Kim, you've just come on. Lindsay, Doug, Lisa by Grace, Cindy Fowler, Mary Elizabeth Babcock. I want to thank all of you. Guinevere, if I've missed anybody who's tuned in live today, it was an oversight. I apologize. I just want to say I love you all so very much. If you resonate with my work, if you get any value out of this, please share it with your friends. Share the video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and share that with your friends. And yes, happy holidays, Sherry, and a happy new decade. Yes, yes, yes. I love you all so very much. Have a happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, and all the blessed holidays to you. Aria has a present for you. Oh, thank you, Kim. We're gonna set up a time to be able to get together. All right. I love you guys. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and I will see you all very soon.